Hi everyone, happy Saturday wherever you are in the world, and it's Andrea speaking again. So today I also come again with an exciting guest and with an exciting life. So today guest um, has got an impressive resume, and before I invite the person in, I just would like to speak a few words about him, give a little bit of introduction. So today guest is Sean Barnes. He's currently residing in Houston, Texas. His current profession, he's a life coach. So he's helping both men and women bettering themselves in their life. He has got a popular podcast, which is called The Way of the Wolf. And by the way, I recommend everyone to check out his podcast on YouTube. So if you haven't done it yet, and a few words about him before I invite the person in. So Sean comes from the IT consulting realm. He has spent at least nearly 2 decades working in the IT consulting, and according to him, his passion is for leadership abilities and coaching. He calls himself introverted by nature, and he's also involved with agile realm, project management, and immigration cases. And he believes that his true calling is helping people to develop leadership abilities, and he is especially passionate about young people. So I think with that being said, I'm just gonna invite the person in. I think he's here already. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Thank you so much. Can you see me? Can you hear me, by the way?
I can. Yep.
Amazing, amazing. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Yes, thank you so much. And by the way, yes, so here in Portugal, it's about to rain soon. So just wanted to say that thank you so much for accepting my invitation to come live with me, because I know that recently you are getting a lot of like requests and approaches. I know that your YouTube channel and your podcast is getting like more and more popular. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. If I'm being honest, this is the first time I've ever gone live on Instagram, so we'll see how this turns out.
Yeah, so basically one thing that I like about this Instagram live, that it feels like very like, it feels live because because when you are on live, there's so much things you cannot control and sometimes you just have to adapt to some unexpected events. So I would say that, yeah, I like the uncertainty part of it sometimes.
Well, it's also good because it pushes us out of our comfort zone. It kind of forces us to grow and forces us to learn how to adapt. So I like it.
Exactly. Yes. So yeah, I think that's one reason why yes, and I just also started recently my channel, so it's kind of like small. So as we talked about previously, I'm also like figuring out how I can like improve myself, improve this channel, and yeah, how I can like basically improve the quality on YouTube. So
Yep.
with that being said, that I already gave you a little bit of introduction, like based on the podcast that I was like listening to. But please, those people who are not familiar with you and with your work. So could you please tell a little bit about yourself, your current life situation, where are you from, and basically, yeah, so whatever you want to share.
Absolutely. So, yes, I've pretty much spent the majority of my life here in the Houston, Texas area and grew up very introverted. I was that kind of typical IT nerd that was to themselves, had like two friends throughout all of school, and just found myself in a career in technology just because technology always came easy to me and I enjoyed it. Like I said, kind of geeky, nerdy growing up. And I was able to make a pretty successful career in IT. And then in my mid 30s, I kind of got to a point where I was craving something more. Like things were going smooth, working well in life. And I realized that I just kind of became complacent and comfortable and was just sitting back and on cruise control and wanted to find something to challenge myself. And the company that I was working for at the time, they had a lot of challenges with human resources leaders, their vice presidents. We had gone through 4 of them in 4 years. So it was just a revolving door. And I saw an opportunity and basically asked if I could step in and lead the human resources team, which was, it took a little bit of convincing for the C-suite executives to let the IT guy run HR, but it worked out. And it's been quite an interesting journey, and it's forced me to level up in aspects of my life that I never really thought I would. I never in my entire life thought that I would be leading human resources. But whenever I started leading human resources, it forced me to come out of my shell. I can no longer lead a team of people from my office being a keyboard warrior. I had to interact with people. So it forced me to grow and learn new skills around effective communication and delegation and really interacting with the people in the business. So that took some time, but through that process, I developed a passion around leadership development and coaching. And over the past probably 3 to 4 years, I've started just reading as many books as I can, continuing to push out of my comfort zone by starting the podcast and the YouTube channel. And all of it's about growing and becoming the best version of myself, but then also figuring out how do I coach and guide and mentor other people to do the same. And one of the things you and I talked about is I kind of help men and women. I would say is probably 50-50 as far as the people that I coach. And I do still have my full-time career in oil and gas, and I do the coaching stuff on the side. And it's really started off as a passion project, and it's just starting to grow. And I know that is my mission and purpose now, is to eventually go on and do that full-time.
Amazing, amazing. Like one thing I figured out in my own life experience, I don't know about other people, that sometimes you find your true calling somewhere around in your 30s. So the 20s is more like, you're trying to figure out life. Like basically, I think 20s are the good age, basically, when you are like trying to gather like life experiences to kind of like figure out who you are. But actually me too, like recently, like it started after I turned into my 30s that I started to understanding, okay, so I was born into a certain country, into a certain situation, and my life kind of pushed me in a way that like, it was defined by all of this. But like your true calling has got more to do with your spirit. It has less to do with the circumstances and the environment you were born to. So one thing I do all the time is kind of like try to tune it out. Like, like for example, I consider myself the citizen of the world. So I try not to like box myself into, okay, I was born in Hungary, I'm from Europe. So all of these things, or I come from a single motherhood and stuff like this. Amazing, amazing.
Yeah. Well, to your point, as far as we go through our 20s, one thing that looking back, I would say it's a mistake, but I'm also kind of a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. One thing I probably wish I would have done more is gotten out of my comfort zone in my 20s. I was hyper focused on my career and technology, and this was my entire world. And it wasn't until my mid 30s that I started to realize there's so much more out there. And I try to encourage people that are in their 20s, spend time doing things that you might not think you would enjoy doing. Just try it, try new things and figure out what you're passionate about. And I think the younger generations are getting better about doing that. And I have my own thoughts on social media, but that is one thing that it does, is it encourages people to try different things and look at different avenues and figure out what works best for them in life.
Yes, amazing. So thanks God, like due to my work, like I had the ability to travel a lot in my 20s. So I was like fortunate in a way that like as a child, I already had an open mindset, and basically it just became like more and more open as I was like traveling around the world. Amazing. And like what I also wanted to like basically reflect or react what you were saying, that So as you said that like basically nothing happens without a reason, I would also add that like skill set and skills compound. So basically in order to be in a position where you are right now, you had to learn certain skill set and probably like your previous decade works and like it helped you to gain this technological knowledge or technology knowledge so that right now, you know, you become a YouTuber and you are able to present yourself in a way amazing. So Sean, I think we discussed about it, you know, that like basically this coaching page of mine is like, basically it has got a specific niche. So basically I'm focusing on helping men, like giving them dating advices, helping them with the like love life. I also actually talk a lot about like personal development and developing themselves into the best version, because I would say that, you know, like women, they come as a kind of like as a side or as a kind of like, you know, once you figure out like the as a man, like, you know, the all the areas of your life, so everything basically like falls into place, at least like, yeah, based on my experience. So please could you tell us that when it comes to business and dating, that why do you think it's important for men to develop leadership abilities? And by the way, so one reason that I decided to call you today for this live is because the little that I know about you, so based on your social media presence, so you are, by the way, to me, this like perfect definition of a leader. So being the leader of your own life, and basically, as you said, that developing like leadership abilities. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, I really appreciate that. It's taken a while for me to get to this point in my life where I feel comfortable in my own skin and I'm confident enough to put my messaging out there. I started the podcast and YouTube channel almost 2 years ago now, and it was challenging for me because I'm very much an introvert at heart. And whenever I think about leadership in career progression and how that plays into all other aspects of life, I'm going to kind of go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I'm going to tie it all back together for you at the end. So I mentioned earlier about how I was so passionate about technology and my career trajectory was like this. It was on the upswing. And I reached a point at which things started to stall out and slow down. And I would say I was getting towards the, I will say, pinnacle of my technology career. And what that did is it built a strong brand and reputation for Sean Barnes in terms of delivering results. People knew they could count on me. They knew if there were technology issues that I was the person to go to and that we would get things done together. What that did is open doors for me, like the opportunity to step in and lead human resources. And I do see a lot of people that they start trying their hand at this and this and this and this, doing all of these things, but they're actually not good at anything. They just kind of dabble in all of these areas. I think it's important for your listeners and everybody that hears my messaging to focus on one area and become the best in the world at it. I say best in the world. It's not very likely. I mean, that would be challenging to be the best in the world, but become the absolute best that you can so that you have this upward trajectory. Once you make it near the top, it makes it much easier for you to branch out into other areas. Now, again, you have to be cautious not to branch out into too many areas, but once you're an expert in IT, jump over in, and I'm using my history as a story here, but I jumped over into HR. And then I spent a few years doing that, learning how to lead people, learning how to build teams and culture. Once I got comfortable doing that, they actually gave me safety and transportation as well. So it's much easier to become the best in one area and then gradually start branching out instead of focusing it in all of these other areas. Now, whenever it comes to leading in your life, I think it is important for you to build confidence and be able to present yourself in a meaningful way that's true to yourself. The best way to do that is to become an expert in your field. Once you're the best in the world at it, it makes it easier for you to have conversations, for you to network with people, and for you to, and building confidence becomes kind of like a snowball effect. The more you do it, the more confidence you build. And that carries over into all other aspects of your life. When I think about my friends that I have looks like Daniel, a good friend of mine who's been on the podcast, just joined live. And he has impressed the hell out of me over the years, just seeing he's been on a similar upward trajectory like this. And Daniel became the absolute best at what he did. And then he started branching out into other areas. And I think that is huge when it comes to building confidence, building relationships, networking with other people, peers and friends and family and things like that.
Yeah, that's well said. And this is something that I resonated with so much because, like, based on my life experience, I have a tendency to go in width as opposed to depth. So my challenge is always lies that because for me it's just so easy to get in contact with people, get in touch. And so basically my struggle in life and like many areas of the life, whether if it's like learning a new language, it's always has been that after a while I just like became impatient or bored and like I forget like why I started it at the first place. And what you were saying that to become the best version of yourself, I don't know if you heard about it. I really like there is this acronym which is like called FOCUS, but basically it's the acronym for like follow one course until succeed. So I
Like that.
yeah, so I really like this like because obviously it's so the focus is like a word itself, but someone created an acronym out of it. So yeah, yeah.
Now, I do want to go ahead and tie that back because you mentioned about how the focus of your content is all around dating.
Yes.
One thing that I have observed is it appears that women have a tendency to date across and up on the socioeconomic scale. For the most part, women don't want to date some schlub who's living in his mom's basement, right? I mean, they might for a little while, but in terms of long-term happy, fulfilling relationships, they want to date across and up. So what that means as men, we need to focus on becoming the best version of ourselves to build our company, our business, our career, build a strong network of people around us. We want to create an environment where we are respected by all of our peers. Whenever you create that best version of yourself, that is inherently going to attract the right type of woman into your life. But I do think it is also important that as a man, you stay focused on your mission and purpose and whatever that looks like for you, putting your dent in the universe. And when you find that partner, that right female that joins into your life, that has to be somebody that's going to complement your life, not become the focus of your life.
Yeah, that's very well said, and everything you said, like I 100% agree. And basically, what you were mentioning that women they tend to like date on the similar or like above. So basically, it's called hypergamy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so what I would add from my own personal life experience and like by observing and like studying this topic, that there are women who are like has got more masculine energy in themselves, and they are really okay with being the breadwinner of the family. But many cases, for example, in myself, I don't want to feel that I am more ambitious than my partner. I don't want to feel that I have got a bigger vision, like for my life. And that was one of the reasons basically why I left my long-term relationship in, like I used to live in Finland, because I just felt that I have got a bigger vision of my life. And some women, they are okay with that they are like carrying much more like a masculine energy. But some women, like I would say the majority of the women, they want to look up to their man, right? They want to look up to their partner. And women like a man who has got a strong vision about his life. Women, they don't have patience for like indecisive men who, just trying to figure out what to do with their life. So yes, very, very well said.
But you touch on something that's also relevant and important as far as women having more and more masculine energy. And I think this is something that has started to become more apparent and common in recent decades, where society has kind of been pushing women, go get a career, boss babe, go make something of yourself, which is great. I think we all want to, again, become the best versions of ourselves. But what's happening is the women are stepping up into that realm, and not all of the men are doing the same. I think And some of the men, I'll say kind of lower tier men, they get frustrated at that instead of looking inward to focus on building themselves up. Now, I was in a long-term relationship years and years ago. She had a very good career, actually made more money than I did. I viewed that as a motivator to become even better. She pushed me to focus on my career, keep building what I was focusing on in my career. And eventually I ended up surpassing her. And I mean, that was years and years ago, but I don't know if enough men actually take that approach. Some, I'll say low value men might sit back and think, oh, I've got this woman over here that's kind of bringing in all this money. I'm just going to kind of ride this out and be lazy and take advantage of it instead of focusing on being even better and becoming that leader of the home and the household and being the best version of themselves.
Yes, agreed. And like one thing I also observed that because I see this tendency that women are like really like embodying this masculine energy basically in first world countries, right? Like United States, Canada, the UK. So personally, I come from Hungary, like Central Europe, and the way how I see that, because Hungary, it's kind of like a small country, and you know, it's like Eastern European, so Central Eastern European country. We tend to have much more like this conventional, like traditional views on like in relationship and in dating in general. So meaning that, you know, the women, they tend to be like this feminine kind of women, and men, they are like tend to be the like leader inside of a household. Like I can look at, for example, when I was a child, how my father was treated me, and you know, when we went out for like any kind of family gathering, family meeting, he was the one, you know, who took care of the family, paid for everything. So I think that, like, because I do listen also a lot on Andrew Tate, and he also like moved to Romania, which is like, you know, close to Hungary. And he also had the same observation on like Eastern Europe, that here people, they still have got these traditional views on families and life. I'm not saying that, of course, like in Eastern Europe, there's like divorces, there's like divorcing numbers and all of this, but I would say that men, they tend to be like more masculine, and women, they still like manage to maintain their feminine side.
Well, if you look at our evolutionary history over hundreds of thousands and even millions of years, that has been how we as humans have evolved. You have the masculine and the feminine. And it's only been in recent decades, but there's been this growth in terms of masculine energy in women. And instead of men just stepping up and becoming even more masculine and continuing to lead, I think some of them are kind of falling behind and making excuses because it's not easy to put in the work to become better. It's tough. Like, you have to put a concerted effort. You have to read. You have to go to the gym. You have to learn how to effectively communicate with people. These are skills that are not easily learned. Now, some people pick up certain skills faster than others, but at the end of the day, you can't sit back and be lazy. And that issue with some of those low value men is compounded by the fact that we live in this world of instant gratification. Like, you don't have to work for much at all. You order something on the internet, it shows up the next day. You can have somebody come mow your yard for you. You can have somebody come build a patio for you. It's I don't see enough men these days doing man things.
Yes, agreed. And like one thing why I like so much like martial arts and all of this, because it's like encouraging positive, healthy masculinity. So yeah, I would recommend any man or every man to engage in some kind of like combat sport, in combat activities, not just because of the physical part of it, like the to be like physically in shape, but also because of the community, like the type of people that, you know, you surround yourself with, because these people at the end of the day, so I consider like combat sport kind of like people who have got this warrior mindset, or basically who are like the people who, yeah, so basically taking responsibility for their life. So when I used to live in Canada, like I visited a local gym, a boxing gym. I always liked and it felt like to me like having a separate family because they are like go to dinner together, like do social activities. So it's like finding your own tribe. Yes,
Yep.
just taking the time because I'm enjoying this conversation so much that we just like have some like detour along the way, which is completely normal. So my next question would be that I think you already touched on this, but I just would like to ask you that what's your definition of a high value man? So how would you define?
I think a high value man it commands the respect of the people around them. He respects himself. He has confidence, not ego, but confidence, and is very comfortable stepping out of his comfort zone and trying something new, being willing to fail, knowing that he's going to learn something along the way. He's not going to fail. He's going to learn how to do something different. He's going to learn how to do something better. I think a high value man has to be in shape, has to continue to focus on becoming strong, not getting lazy, not sitting on the couch watching TV, but taking time to go to the gym, get into some sort of MMA or boxing or physical fitness routine. They continue to invest in themselves in not just their body, but in their mind. Taking time to read, taking time to learn how to more effectively communicate with those around them. And then once you pull all of that stuff together, you start forming a better version of yourself. And once you have formed that better version of yourself, you then give it away to the world. And by that, I mean, you start taking time to build others around you. You don't build this incredible version of yourself to just achieve more and more success for yourself. You have to turn around and say, I'm here now. How can I help you get here? And I think that is one of the most important aspects of becoming a high value man is being able to not only be the best version of yourself, but then turn around and start helping everyone else grow.
Yeah, that's beautifully said that. And I'm not sure if you heard about it. There is this concept I came upon with like different sources. If you want, I can send it over to you. So it's called the hero's journey. And basically everybody is on their like hero's journey. And basically like once you reach the hero's journey, so meaning that like, you overcome the challenges in your life throughout like error and trial, after that basically so you want to give back to the people, like you want to give back to the society, you want to give back and you're going to share all, so everything that basically you learned on your way. Yes, that's beautiful. I came upon with this concept like a long time ago, so I would say that yes, you have reached the hero and it seems to me it is amazing. So my next question is that so now that basically yeah, that's in perfect of the issue we talk about. So now that you're helping people, both men and women, to be the best version of themselves, what were the biggest challenges you had to overcome along the way so that you right now in a position that you are helping others?
The biggest challenge that I struggled with was really coming out of my shell. I was very introverted, quiet, reserved, stayed to myself. Having conversations with new people that I didn't know gave me hives. I really struggled with it. The thought of getting up on stage and talking to people, I would have heart palpitations. It wouldn't work for me.
Coming on Instagram live.
Exactly, doing an Instagram live, this type of stuff. It's still, if I'm being honest, my heart rate was elevated before we jumped on this. I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges for me as an introvert, was learning how to overcome my fear of networking with new people, meeting new people, and public speaking. I think those skills are very important for everybody to learn and build and develop, because when you start looking at growth in your life, in your career, in your business, all of the things that we do, all of the things that we accomplish are a result of the interactions that we have with those around us. If you can positively impact the lives of more and more people throughout your life journey, all ships are going to rise with the tide. So if I'm able to help 10 people over here, I do believe in karma. By helping those people, eventually that's going to come back to me in some way, shape, or form. So when I say all ships rise with the tide, one of the things that I focus on in business is building all of the people on my team. And once the team starts elevating, I'm elevating with them. Now, that's not the driver behind what I do. It's truly about helping all of those people, but focusing on building others is what's most important to me. And I couldn't do that if I hadn't learned those skills around effective communication, public speaking, and being able to come out of my shell and network with others.
Yes, I would say that the social skill, having social skill and social congruence, this is one of the most important skill set that you learn in life. Because if you think it over, everything you want in life, so whatever desire you have, you're gonna receive it from other people, whether if it's your life partner, whether if it's from your customers, clients, whether if it's from your boss or whatever. So when I understood this concept that every single desire you have in life, you're gonna receive it throughout people. So if you understand this single concept, then you're gonna understand this. The number one skill you have to learn is this, like how to deal with variety of people and how to be an effective communicator. And I'm actually really grateful for my life experience because I used to perform as a child. So basically I learned classical piano for like 5 years. And, when I was in elementary school, they sent us for all this performance and competition. And after I become a professional dancer. So basically throughout my life, I was performing in front of other people. So I never had issues with
Very fortunate.
call it public speaking, but more performing in front of others. So I always been naturally a confident person. I always been an outspoken person, but especially when it comes to dating, and this was one of the reasons why I decided to set, there was many reasons, but that was also one of them, because I understand that just because for me as a woman or as a person, just so easy for me, to be friendly and, easily approachable and, just to, I can literally, right now I can go anywhere, randomly, I can approach anyone, saying a compliment, oh, this skirt is so nice, or I like your watch, whatever. So I have absolutely zero problem with that. But I understand that, most people, especially men, are not like this. So they are struggling with that. So I just figured this out a long time ago that, so I have been blessed in this way that I'm able to present myself in this way.
Very fortunate. It is challenging. And I can't remember, there's some studies that come out that there are actually more people afraid of public speaking than afraid of death, which I find kind of comical. It wasn't that bad for me, but it was a very real challenge.
Yes, I I agree with this one. Yes. So basically, it's just like with everything, I know that it sounds like for most people, this is not it's like a big challenge you overcome. Like recently, I just got my driving license. And for me, was because I used to focus on long distances as opposed to looking in front of myself, what's happening. Because when you travel, you kind of have to focus on long distances. You have to figure out, oh, where can I find a nearby supermarket? So I had to learn a completely new skill set of not always looking in the distance, but just focusing what's happening around you. So for me, that was a big, which is completely normal for many people. Many people got their driving license when they are 17 or 18. I got my driving license a year ago, and I was it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. I think I have taken 100 hours with an instructor.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm just saying that you see what comes to me easy, this is one part of my life, but the other skills that of course I also have to learn it. So I'm just saying that. So yeah, just because for me the human skills and the social skills come easily, I'm like behind with technology and all like this, yeah, practical,
Yep.
practical.
Well, I think that speaks to the fact that we're all on our own journey, and that's completely okay. It is important for us to step out and try new things, but I can hear the excitement in your voice of being able to now have your driver's license, and that's something that probably early in your life it wasn't a big deal. It just didn't really mean much to you, but now it is a big deal for you, and that also speaks to just trying new things and getting out and expanding your knowledge and experiences.
Yes, yes, and like literally, like yeah. So it was for me, just a big, yeah, because um, it is also like goes back to the topic of becoming your own leader. Like I think that for me, it's important to be as independent as possible, and obviously in today's world, so it comes with owning
Yeah.
a driving license, or yeah, basically yes, having your own car. With that being said, okay, so I think we are very good on time. So my last question is that no, sorry, there's actually two questions. I saw the last one. So according to you, what is the biggest mistake that men make when it comes to dating and relationship? What are your thoughts on this? What's the biggest mistake men make when it comes to dating and relationship?
I would say that a big mistake that men make is putting the focus of their life into their partner instead of staying focused on their mission and purpose in life. It can be very easy to find the one and get so wrapped up and so excited and feeling that companionship and love and everything that comes from a new relationship, and start to drift from your purpose in life to focusing just on that partner, just on that relationship. Now, yes, you want to be able to find that balance of what makes the most sense to be able to have that happy and healthy relationship, but you cannot lose sight of your purpose in life. If it's building a software platform, if it's progressing in your career, if it's coaching and helping others become the best version of themselves, you cannot lose sight of your mission and purpose in life and start focusing on the relationship. Whenever you do that, there's a high probability you're going to start smothering that partner and they're going to get tired of it, and things are going to start to break down over time. When you're looking for a relationship or want some sort of partner in life, it's important for both parties to stay focused on their mission and purpose and then just have alignment. They're both moving in the same direction. You mentioned earlier how you had a long-term relationship and you were more focused on building your career and growing in life than they were. That creates a misalignment. When two people are both focused on their mission, moving in the same direction, that's whenever you have an ideal alignment. If you start focusing too much on the partner, you start bleeding over into kind of codependence, and it's just things will start to unravel and not go into a good direction. So stay focused on your purpose and mission in life, and the right person will come along.
Yes, that's beautifully said. Like, yeah, I can like reflect back to my like own life experience, and I would say that like, yeah, so if one person is a hustler, you need like, it doesn't work with like one partner is a hustler and the other one is like sitting back. So I would say that you need two hustlers who are like, both of them are working and basically they are working towards their mutual goal or like own goal. And I would say that's the best one. Yeah. I can like reflect back to my life experience. And I also have got actually friends that the woman was like more hustler than the man. It's, as you said, it creates some kind of like misaligned when, and basically like for my case that I, thanks God, like I have been always high on life, like in general. I always just loved experiencing like new things and yeah, so travel to new places. And temporary, I lost myself in a new relationship, but after a while, I just like realized that. And yeah, so after I went back to my like focus and yeah, on my, yeah, so basically just on my hunger and like appetite to, yes, to try out new things.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay, great. So I think we arrived to the last question. And by the way, thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with me, because I know you have got probably lots of things to do. So my last question is that according to you, what's the, no, that's, sorry, I already answered this one. So which advice would you give to men wanting to have better results in their life, in their personal life?
Stop chasing women, start chasing excellence. When I say chase excellence, figure out what you're good at and become great at it. Build yourself into the highest value man that you can possibly become. And when I say high value, I'm not talking about your level of income. That's one aspect of it. But build yourself into a man that people respect and that you respect yourself, and then give it away to the world.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah. So these are true wisdom nuggets here. Yes, amazing. So this would have been all my question basically that we agreed. So I see that there are some people around. So like some people are coming in and like tuning. So before we finish, is there anything else would you like to share or add to my audience? And basically now I'm turning to the audience. Are there any questions that you would like to ask either from me or from Sean? So yes. Is there anything, Sean, you would like to add?
The only thing that I'd like to add is I appreciate and respect everything that you're doing and what you're focusing on building in terms of helping everyone else become better in life. We all have our niches. You have your niche in terms of helping men become better versions of themselves and focus on dating and figuring out that aspect of their life. But I just love everything that you're doing, and just please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And I would say that, yeah, it's not easy to be like present in this like manosphere community or like this male community, because sometimes I'm like criticized and, you know, like I'm getting some nasty comments or whatever. And sometimes, you know, it just doesn't feel right. But at the end of the day, I'm getting like so much positive like encouragement and, you know, like support and, you know, like these random messages for people. So every time, you know, when I'm getting attacked or something like this, so it just, but you know, this is social media. So whatever like niche you are in, it doesn't have to be relationships. And one thing I also figured out basically is that, like, you know, because I used to belong to these customers, right? When there is a dating guru, a male, who is like giving advices to women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like women, you know, they are like much more attuned to their emotional world. So of course, like relationships, they always gonna interest women. But I just thought about it, like it does make sense, right? So if I wanna figure out the male mindset, or you know how the male brain works, like, you know, I always say to women that, you know, like when they are talking to their sister or when they are talking to their best friends, I would say that, like, why are you asking it, like, you know, like she's gonna give you a stupid she's gonna give you a stupid advice because you are asking another woman about man mindset or man brain. So I always say to women that, you know, ask your brother, ask your father, ask another, like, you know, male member of your family. So why are you listening to another girl? Like, what do you say, what you should yeah. So
Yep.
I figured out that. So uh, the advice, if it's coming from a woman, if it's coming from a woman that basically I have been around the world and I have gained some life experience, so it gains more weight basically, so to say. But
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned something earlier, the manosphere. That is, there are things that are discussed in the manosphere that I agree with, and there's things that I don't necessarily agree with. I do think it's good for people to get exposure to it, and based on their own life experiences and who they are as an individual, take certain lessons from it and apply it in your life. But as you're well aware, there are extremes of any spectrum, and you can be, as a man, way too feminine, or you can be way too masculine here at the outer fringes of the manosphere. Those extremes are not really ideal. Trying to find that balance and figure out what works for you as an individual is key.
Yes, 100% agree. And yeah, this is everything with life. And the end of the day, there's a reason like why God created us, or why, like, we are created in a way that, there is man and there is women. Because it's not that one sex is better to another. Like, both sex has their own like strengths, and is able to give something to either to society or to their like to their partner. So I would say that, yeah, just like I encourage like positive masculinity, like, healthy femininity is also like
Mhm.
has to be like welcomed and appreciated by men. Yes,
Yep.
beautifully, beautifully said. I'm so happy for this live. So before we finish, are there any questions? I see there are some people around. Are there any question either for me or for Sean? Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I would like to thank you so much for your time. And yes, so me too, I'm following your content, I'm following your YouTube channel. So good luck to you. And yes, so in the future, like, yeah, we can also like, yeah, work together another time or collaborate another time.
Definitely.
So
Definitely. I
just
appreciate the opportunity to come on your show and respect everything that you're doing. I really appreciate it.
thank you so much, Sean, and wishing you a great Saturday. I know that your Saturday just started. So are you gonna go to the gym now, or what's your plan?
Actually, I have a couple of people coming over. We're going to record a podcast,
Oh,
and then I'll go to the gym after that.
so today is a podcast day.
It is, yeah. My Saturday mornings are usually my podcast recording times.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Thank you.
they're going to be here in about
I'm
15
gonna be
minutes. We're going
sharing
to
this
start.
content on YouTube. Thank you so much. Have a nice